Hello everyone, I'm Monali Zadi and today we are going to learn our chapter number 6 e-commerce and e-governance from information technology subject. In this chapter, we are going to learn some concepts of e-commerce and e-governance. So let's get started.
Our chapter number 6 is e-commerce and e-governance. In this chapter, we are going to learn some terms that are e-commerce concepts, advantages, disadvantages, and types of e-commerce. Then e-commerce trade cycle, then common forms of e-commerce. Next is electronic data interchange, then e-governance, its concepts, advantages, and types of e-governance, and various security measures.
So, what is e-commerce? E-commerce, also known as electronic commerce or internet commerce, which refers to the buying and selling of the goods or services using internet and transfer of money and data to execute their transaction. E-commerce is often used to refer to the sale of a physical products online, but it can also describe any kind of commercial transaction that is facilitated through the internet. So e-commerce, as we see, e-commerce stands for electronic commerce. Then what is meant by commerce? Commerce is an important part of business. In some simple words, commerce is nothing but buying and selling of a goods. That means when we buy a product or a service from other or sell a product or a service to others, then it is called as commerce. One of the most popular activity on the web is shopping. E-commerce becomes possible in 1991 when the internet was opened to commercial use. Since that date, thousands of the businesses have taken up residence at website. History of e-commerce is a history of a new virtual world which is evolving according to the customer advantage. Then what is the definition of e-commerce? E-commerce can be broadly defined as the process of buying and selling of goods and services using an electronic medium such as internet. E-commerce is also referred as paperless exchange of a business information using EDI, that is electronic data interchange, email or electronic fund transfer. After this, we'll see a difference between traditional commerce and e-commerce.
The difference between traditional commerce and e-commerce is traditional commerce focuses on the exchange of products and services through the personal interaction, so it is manual, which means we can buy or sell products manually, one to one. And in e-commerce trading activities are online via internet and can be considered automatic. All the activities in the e-commerce are done via internet. The next is traditional commerce is limited to the business hours, mostly during day. Means traditional commerce, the activities or the buying and selling is mostly done during the daytime. This time is limited, and in e-commerce it is 24/7. It can be done anytime, day and night. Next point in the difference is, as far as consumers' interactions are concerned, traditional commerce provides face-to-face interaction. Means in traditional commerce, face-to-face interaction is important, and in e-commerce can be termed as screen-to-face interaction. Means we use the internet, so the interaction becomes screen-to-face interaction. In traditional commerce is limited to the particular geographical location. Means buying and selling of goods or services, it is limited over a particular location, and e-commerce is a global and has no physical limitations. Means over the internet we can buy or sell products or services globally. There is no geographical or physical limitations. Next point is, modes of payment in traditional commerce include cash, checks, and credit cards. Means if you want to payment for your services or for your goods, that is through cash, checks, and credit cards. In e-commerce, modes of payments are bank transfer, credit cards, e-wallet, mobile payments, and many more. So in e-commerce provides variety of payments, that is by bank transfer, that is net banking, or credit card, or e-wallets, mobile payment, or any other payment services like GPay or PhonePe, all other services. Next is, traditional commerce scope is local. Means the scope of the traditional commerce is limited to the particular region or particular location. Means its scope is local, and e-commerce scope is global, because we buy and sell our services or a product over the internet, over the worldwide. So e-commerce scope is global. Then goods and delivery of services is instant with traditional commerce. Goods and services is instance with the traditional commerce. Means when you buy or sell a product face to face, so the delivery is instant. So I buy some products from a shop, then I'll pay for that and I'll get that product instantly. But in the e-commerce, delivery of the goods or services takes some time. When we order something on the internet, it takes 2 to 3 days to deliver that product. So delivery time may vary in the traditional commerce and in the e-commerce. So these are the differences between traditional commerce and e-commerce. There are some, let us see some advantages of e-commerce. There are several advantages of e-commerce, that is global scope, electronic transactions, cost saving, anytime shopping, no intermediaries, public service. These are all the advantages of e-commerce. So let's see one by one in a detail. So global scope. E-commerce provides the seller with a global reach. Now sellers and buyers can meet in the virtual world without barrier of a place. Means in a global scope, no limitation of a geographical area. The buyer and a seller can buy or sell the products over the internet globally. Next is electronic transactions. In electronic transaction, e-commerce reduces the paperwork and significantly the transaction cost. Means when we did a transaction over the internet, no paperwork, no need of a paperwork is there. So the transaction cost is ultimately get reduces in the electronic transaction. E-commerce enables the use of credit card, debit cards, smart cards, electronic fund transfer via bank's website and other modes of electronic payment. By using these modes, that is credit card, debit card, smart cards, or electronic fund transfer or bank transfer, the cost of transaction is reduces, and ultimately the buyer or seller get the benefit of it. Next is cost saving. E-commerce application provides the user with the more options to compare and select the cheaper and the better option. Means e-commerce provides the buyer or the seller, the buyer, to compare the products over the internet so that they can get the best product in a cheaper rate. It helps in reducing the cost of searching of a product, which helps reducing the cost of searching of the product. E-commerce has enabled rural areas to access service and products which are otherwise not available to them, as it saves the cost and it gives the service or product service to the rural areas. Earlier, what happened? The rural area peoples will not get all the products, but nowadays using internet, rural area peoples they can search products online and they can buy or sell the products over the internet. Next is anytime shopping. One other great advantage is the convenience. Anytime shopping is the shopping, we can shop the products anytime 24/7 in a day. The website is functional at all the times. It does not have working hours like a shop. Means we go in the shop and shop for the products, so the time is limited there. But over the internet there is no time limit, so you can shop your goods or products or services anytime in a day or a night. No intermediaries. Electronic commerce allows the customer and the business to be in touch directly without any intermediaries. This allows for a quick communication and a transaction. In the traditional commerce, there are some intermediaries which are in between the buyer and the seller. But in the e-commerce, there are no intermediary in between the buyer and the seller. So the advantage of no intermediaries are the buyer and the seller can communicate directly and quickly over the internet, and the transaction is done quickly. So this is this is the best advantage, that is no intermediaries. And the last advantage is public service. E-commerce helps the government to deliver public services such as healthcare, education, so social service at a reduced cost and in an improved manner. Using e-commerce, the government is also delivering some public services such as healthcare or education or social services over the internet, and as it is over the internet, the cost is reduced, so the consumer or the customers can get their service at a cheaper price, get government service at a cheaper price. So that's all for this lecture. We'll meet in the next lecture with the another topics of the e-commerce. Thank you.